Hey guys, welcome back to Horror 16. I am your host Javon, and today we're back with another crazy video. That's right, I'm the guy that tests a bunch of crap where you shouldn't be testing it in 2024. Today we're using the i3-10105 once again, clocked at 4.2 gigahertz, has 4 cores and 8 threads, and today we'll be seeing what a GTX 960 can do when it's overclocked heavily, to see if we can get some extra performance out of this graphics card. Will that extra per core clock, overclock, memory clock as well push it over the edge? Probably not, but regardless, we're here. It's happening. We're running with 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM as well in 2067 megahertz. Obviously, this one once the board supports. I feel like I said this so many damn times it gets repetitive in my mind, but to you, it might be your first time watching a video from me, so hey, good for you. Every game is tested on an SSD. We also have an SSD for a boot drive. We're basically pushing everything to the GPU right now, which is the 2 gig GTX 960. We have a core clock of 150 megahertz over that, and then we carry the memory clock plus 400. This is where I found it to be stable. I haven't actually gone any further than this. I did 150 and 400 and say, you know what? I feel like this is pretty realistic with what people have on the internet. I feel like I'm gonna stay here. So as you can see, the GPU clock is 1277 now. Memory clock is 1953, which is kind of 3906 when you're actually playing games. But yeah, it actually has gone up quite a bit. A whole 400 in a memory clock is kind of crazy to me. I never actually go that hard when I'm overclocking GPUs. But hey, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and get ready for some pain. More pain anyway. I will see you guys in the first video. First up, the bane of my existence once again. I decided to test this one first because Forspoken, man, at 1080p low FSR set to ultra performance, I saw practically no notable difference. The game runs the exact damn same. Forspoken is Forspoken. It's trash, okay? Listen, it's supposed to be running next gen stuff. It's really demanding, okay? And it's just not optimized well regardless. It's not a great time, guys. Stay away.
Right in the sweet spot. Yeah. Got you on your toes now. Huh. Gotcha. Huh. Yeah. One more round? Think I'm feeling lucky.
Well, certainly good to see some enthusiasm.
Huh. Ah. Huh. There's something there.
Not gonna lie, for Horizon Forbidden West, I was a bit surprised with the lack of improvement in performance. But then I saw the wattage and I realized that 1080p low FSR set to ultra performance, the GPU simply can't utilize the overclock anyway. The power, it just can't run the game. We're limited in VRAM, we're limited in the power of the graphics card. The overclock isn't helping. The game's running practically the same as well. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you have old tech, guys. Sometimes the overclock just won't help. Except maybe fix the 1% lows a bit, but eh. Liza P is just fine and dandy, isn't it? It runs really well, guys. I can't really hit on Liza P. At 1080p low with FSR set to quality, we were getting about 60 FPS on average with Liza P. It will run fine on pretty much any hardware, although that frame time graph never gets any better, by the way. I was gonna do just 1080p low, but I realized it was heavily under 60 FPS. This has also seen an improvement due to the overclock, which is nice. It's a breath of fresh air, but once again, the ones you can definitely see the overclock helping with is when I hit like 100 watts of power. When I'm at 60 and 70, it's not utilizing the overclock as well. So that's just pretty simple for you to understand. Listen, Robocop Rogue City is a nightmare to run because it's Unreal Engine 5, but it did have frame gen, so that was interesting. At 1080p low, set to with FSR set to ultra performance, using frame gen as well, we were managing to hit an average of over 30 FPS, which I thought was awesome. Although I must say, this was not smooth. This was a disaster to play. It did not feel like it was running at over 40 FPS in this game. I will tell you that. But hey, it was hitting over 40. Progress, I guess. I don't know. It was running. This also was using 16 gigabytes of RAM when I was walking outside. So, geez, man, I would recommend you probably need like 32 gigs to actually run this properly. It's crazy to think, but hey, it works. The Callisto Protocol also noticed a massive bump in performance as well. At 1080p low, set to FSR, set to performance, ultra performance, we were seeing over 60 FPS on average as well. Whereas when I played this game originally with the same settings, we were hovering in the 50s. This means that you'll get a more consistent 60 FPS experience with that overclock, which is quite nice. This is the first one where I really saw a noticeable difference in performance. That overclock really helped this out. It makes it run so much better. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is another one of those newer titles that the GTX 960 cannot fully utilize. At 1080p low with FSR set to ultra performance, I was practically getting the same performance I got at stock settings. The wattage is just not utilizing it. It just can't utilize this as well. The VRAM is completely maxed out. Overclocking this actually will not help this game very much. The 1% lows and the averages were slightly better. I think actually by 1 the averages were. The 1% were better, but other than that, this was definitely not doing much. Honestly, I would save yourself the issue with this game here and just save yourself the temperature rise and just play it at stock.
Ratchet, I do not believe this is part of the show.
Surprisingly, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered also noticed a big difference here, even though the wattage isn't fully utilized, but 1080p low with FSR set to ultra performance, it is using a bit more wattage than the other games are, and FSR definitely is helping. As you see, it does go up because of how the game performs, where he goes up in the ear and there's a lot happening. The wattage does hit over 90 watts every once in a while. As you can see, it's hitting 90 watts right now. Because of that, we do notice a uptick, at least 10 frames in some scenarios better than what I got when I was playing at start. It was quite impressive to me. So this actually does make Marvel Spider-Man Remastered much more playable on this setup.
Better wrap this up quick than get to my real job. Yes.
A Plague Tale Requiem also notices a bit of an uptick in performance as well. At 1080p low with, well, resolution optimizer set to ultra performance, we were seeing over 35 frames per second on average. Better! You know, this game struggles to hit 30 in this scenario here where I'm walking. We would normally be getting 30 and it would dip underneath. It doesn't dip anymore. So basically with this overclock, it will keep you probably at the 30 FPS range a lot more than without just playing it at stock. That's pretty much it. This game is really demanding and the GTX 960 once again struggles, but hey, the overclock definitely does help. Overclock sometimes can work. Sometimes you can get 10 frames, sometimes you can get 3 frames, but it does keep it above 30, and that's what I noticed.
I like your new home. It's a castle. All right. You Christopher Phineas is invading my castle.
Yes, and I'm going to turn you into a beetle.
Amicia, he's too powerful. We have to hide. Yes.
I'll count to 10. Then I'll come.
Resident Evil 4 Remake coming in with the swing on this one. With 1080p low with FSR set to ultra performance, we're basically using prioritized performance and then FSR 2 to ultra performance. We were getting over 60 FPS once again with Resident Evil 4 Remake. On low crap settings look crap, but regardless, the game was playing. I can't really complain. I don't even know what to say about this one. It was actually really good. I didn't expect to get this higher frame rate in this area especially. We still do get stutters every once in a while though. We are maxing out our VRAM regardless. It's 2 gigabytes of VRAM. You really shouldn't be doing 2 gigabytes of VRAM in 2024. It's not great guys. But regardless, it did perform.
Anyone home?
And finally in the benchmark we have Final Fantasy VII Remake once again at 1080p low. This also benefited from the overclock. We were stable into, normally this game runs into the 40 FPSs here. We were getting into the 50s in this scenario. In every scenario it went up like 10 frames. It was crazy. Definitely this one had one of the biggest improvements with the overclock. I'd say that this is much more playable with the overclock here. Does use a lot more watt, as you can see my GPU is at 70 degrees, but hey, you're getting a much smoother, the average is at 60 right now. That's pretty good. So what do I think overall about this? Well, the GTX 960 does show that with an overclock, it has a bit more life. It's just struggling to get out of life support, man. It's like, I don't want to be on life support no more. And it's trying its damnedest, but you probably should get a better GPU in 2024, guys. I understand, you know, cost me like 11 bucks to buy, but regardless, it definitely needs a better upgrade in 2024, guys. But hey, it can play some older titles quite well. But once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.